Good evening. I'm Spot On Weather meteorologist Matthew Euler. Welcome to the weather map discussion for Tuesday, 30 August 2022. Look at this picture this evening. It's a great looking picture. By the way, if you want your picture to be shown, a weather related picture to be shown on the cover title slide of these discussions, these videos we place on YouTube, feel free to send me an email, eulermatthew4@gmail.com. That's eulermatthew4@gmail.com. And I will definitely put your name here in the photo credit if you want to share a really cool picture of some clouds or some sort of lightning that you took a picture of, or some type of picture of the moon or lunar effects. Please feel free to send that in to us here at Spot On Weather. I'd be happy to show it and mention your name, give you a shout out on the title slide of these videos. Okay, the video we're showing tonight, or the image rather, I'm showing you tonight here on the title slide, are some wispy ice crystal cirrus clouds. Now these clouds occur in all seasons of the year. They occur during the summertime, typically as higher level blow-off clouds from thunderstorm tops. They occur a lot in the wintertime when we have storm systems moving in and out of an area. They're usually this first sign of an approaching storm system, in fact, these high wispy cirrus clouds. And a specific type of ice crystal cirrus cloud known as a cirrostratus can actually produce a halo effect around the sun or the moon, which is really cool stuff. All right, so let's get into tonight's video discussion for the daily weather maps here. I'll go ahead and move forward. Okay, so first, taking a look at the infrared image on the left, the satellite image. What do we have going on tonight, 30 August 2022? There is a area of enhanced colder cloud tops indicated by the brighter oranges and reds and yellows, generally extending from the mid-Atlantic, really right around the Baltimore, Maryland area, southwestward into Virginia, parts of western North Carolina, right on down southwest into upstate South Carolina, into the Atlanta, Georgia area, extending further southwest into parts of Mississippi and Alabama, the Biloxi, Mississippi area, as well as Mobile. Those are two of the big cities along I-10 there, right off Interstate 10, that are really showing some cooler cloud tops tonight, as well as New Orleans, southeast Louisiana. Additionally, we see colder cloud tops back into parts of eastern Texas this evening. Looking at generally the upper Midwest, the northern plains, the Midwest, it's looking really clear right now. Not much in the way of cloud coverage, really. It looks like some fair weather, and that is because that area is behind this cold front here as it's moving towards the mid-Atlantic coast this evening. Out in the western United States, it's also very dry, also very hot. Looking at the radar mosaic here on the right, showing, generally this radar image showing some heavier showers and storms extending south from Ottawa, Canada, into parts of Montreal, Canada, and on down into New York State, just west of the New York City metro area into parts of Philly, and just to the northeast of the DC area. And then again, there's a new line of showers and storms, very thin in nature, from Virginia southwestward into northern Georgia. Additionally, along Interstate 10 tonight, there's some showers and storms. Generally, where we saw that really colder cloud top over Mobile and Biloxi, we do see an area of showers and thunderstorms over that particular area this evening. And also in the parts of Texas, there's a few scattered showers in the parts of New Mexico as well. But no precipitation returns going on along the U.S. West Coast, along the northern plain states, across even parts of Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa, Missouri, Illinois. Nothing showing up on those in those particular areas. All right, so look at this. Let's take a look at the surface analysis for 30 August 2022. There is generally high pressure is in charge. It's in command out over the western United States right now, producing very dry weather, which is, of course, not very good news when we consider that this particular area of the United States, the West here, is very dry right now. So it is a concern that the fire season could be pretty bad this year. That's something to keep an eye on. So very dry and warm across the west. We do see a frontal boundary extending generally from just to the southeast of Detroit, down to northern Indiana, parts of Illinois, into Missouri. In addition, we see outflow boundaries developing further down to the southern U.S. Due to downdraft air coming out of thunderstorms. So we do have some outflow boundaries along the Gulf Coast right now. Additionally, we see an area of low pressure, a 1013, very weak 1013 millibar low off the mid-Atlantic coast with a stationary boundary generally draped off the Carolina coastline tonight. Temperatures are fairly pleasant across the upper Midwest this evening, generally in the 60s overall. Out ahead of the front, it's a little bit more muggy along the immediate eastern seaboard. It was another hot and muggy day. I know in parts of southeastern Virginia, the high was about 91, 92 degrees with surface dew points into the 70s, so very muggy. Looking at the 300 millibar wind speed forecast for Wednesday, 31 August 2022. So last day of August, and how are we going to close out the month? Well, the image here on the left is for Wednesday morning, the image on the right for Wednesday evening. And we do have quite a bit of jet stream energy here. There remains a long wave ridge that has poked itself up into parts of western Canada. And generally we see the strongest winds generally as they approach the long wave ridge axis, and especially downstream of that ridge axis, there is an area of 114 to 120 knot winds just really blowing up there at 30,000 feet above the ground over Lake Superior this evening. And additionally, that jet streak extends southeastward into Lake Huron area. There's additionally, out ahead of this long wave trough, which is positioned from southeast Canada into parts of New York State this evening, there is another jet max with the general upper level wind flow from the south out ahead of that long wave trough axis. And we see that orange coloring here in eastern Canada, winds on the order of 114 knots in that brighter orange coloring. So overall, the long wave pattern is featuring a ridge across the western United States, very dry and above normal, very hot temperatures today and also into tomorrow. And then that downstream trough, a little bit cooler temperatures into parts of the Ohio Valley and into New England. Now by tomorrow evening, we still see the main axis of the polar front jet stream generally moving across central Canada, dropping down southeast into parts of Ontario province. And then this area of higher wind speeds then pivots southeast into Lake Huron, into southern New York State, as well as into parts of Massachusetts and Connecticut. By tomorrow evening, we do see the reflection of the Bermuda Azores high there off the anticyclonic signature there of the Azores Bermuda high off the U.S. southeast coast. And so that's generally what we're looking at. Jet stream well to the north, very warm, very hot temperatures beneath that ridge. And then anywhere north of the jet stream axis into southeastern Canada, it's going to be cooler. Looking at the 500 millibar wind heights and vorticity for Wednesday, 31 August, with Wednesday morning on the left, Wednesday evening on the right. Looking at higher values of positive vorticity. So positive vorticity here in association with upper level low, a closed low, there over the southern portion of Hudson Bay, Canada. And we do see some stronger winds pivoting on the backside of that upper level low. Basically the gradient between the upper low and then the shortwave ridge to the west in western Canada, that is tightening up this height gradient from Manitoba province of Canada southeastward into Michigan, and then parts of New York State and New England. So some very strong gusty winds at 30,000 feet. If anybody was taking a plane ride from, let's say, central Canada into New England tomorrow morning, the stronger tailwinds would definitely benefit and push that flight along pretty quickly. Notice this 594 decameter upper level high that just by Wednesday morning sitting over the southwestern United States, with this shortwave trough position further downstream across New England. By tomorrow evening, that upper level high just continues to dominate. 594 decameters. The higher these heights, the stronger the ridge, and the greater the potential for record heat, by the way, when you have this kind of ridge. A lot of sinking air beneath the ridge, resulting in that heating effect. Now look at what's going on by Wednesday evening. Some of these wind speeds have the gradient's fairly tight, and some of the vorticity, rather, is starting to pivot with the shortwave trough further to the east into Quebec, the Quebec province of Canada. By tomorrow evening, we still have some higher vorticity, positive vorticity values rotating around this particular feature, the trough, around the base of the trough there, that shortwave trough, on into parts of New England by tomorrow evening. Look at the 700 millibar vertical velocity and heights for Wednesday, 31 August 2022. Here's Wednesday morning. There's that reflection of the upper level high, still sitting generally in the same location as it was on 500 millibar level. Generally what we're looking at is this upper level high and very hot temperatures and dry conditions occurring across the western United States, with that downstream trough into parts of the upper Great Lakes area and New England for Wednesday morning. And you also see the closed low at 700 millibars over Hudson Bay, generally with these positive or vertical velocity values there out ahead of the shortwave trough axis across parts of Maine and southeastern Canada by Wednesday morning. Wednesday evening, we see the upper level high still in the same position, so this shortwave ridge continues to dominate the dry, parched landscape of the western United States. We do see the main polar front jet axis up over parts of Alberta and Saskatchewan and Manitoba provinces diving southeast. The main polar front jet axis diving southeast across parts of the upper Great Lakes into New England by Wednesday evening. Looking at the 850 millibar wind speed forecast, we're looking at the wind speeds at 5,000 feet above the ground for Wednesday, 31 August 2022. This is Wednesday morning on the left, Wednesday evening on the right, and we still got some winds that are really, really, really ripping and roaring across parts of Canada, the Manitoba province on the back side there, just to the southwest of Hudson Bay there. Wind speeds at 5,000 feet or 850 millibars. They are at 50 knots plus in this brighter orange zone I'm pointing out. And we still also have some stronger winds generally from the northwest direction across parts of Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, and even pivoting into parts of Pennsylvania, eastern Ohio, and New York State tomorrow morning. Now, tomorrow evening, we see that there's still some fairly strong winds there at 850 millibars, generally in the same position southwest of Hudson Bay, Canada, and the green coloring indicating winds in excess of 20 to 22 knots. Generally, the gustiest winds at 850 millibars will be across Wisconsin, Michigan, the Great Lakes area, Ohio, as well as parts of New York State, Pennsylvania, Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, and Connecticut. Looking at the surface wind forecast for Wednesday, 31 August 2022, at the surface, we're not really seeing those 850 millibar winds come down to the surface. And so, despite these stronger winds across the Great Lakes area and New England, we're not seeing that coming all the way down to the surface. In general, the highest winds will be located over the open waters of the western Atlantic for Wednesday morning. They will be gustier, the surface winds, in conjunction with the tighter gradient between the upper low and that massive ridge to the west. So it's a steep height gradient, a strong height gradient force. It's going to result in stronger winds translating to the surface across parts of Hudson Bay, Canada, with wind speeds in excess of 20 to 24 knots. There's even a pocket of 34 knot winds there in the lighter orange and yellow coloring there. By Wednesday evening, we're looking at the strongest winds again remaining over the water off the coast of California, where winds could be gusty in excess of 20 to 25 knots. And additionally over the western Atlantic once again. We do see stronger winds by Wednesday evening over Hudson Bay, Canada. They have lessened a little bit by this point. But generally across the United States, if you're driving across anywhere on the major interstate corridors, we will see some higher winds, but they're not really too strong though. I mean, these blue colors generally indicating winds in the order of 10 to 15 knots. A couple pockets of higher winds across the Pacific Northwest in parts of Arizona, New Mexico tomorrow evening. Looking at the precipitation forecast for Wednesday, 31 August 2022, Here is Wednesday morning on the left. The pockets of rain, if you've got travel plans, you may get wet heading west on Interstate 10 into parts of the western portion of Texas. There's also some rain showers and thunderstorms working their way up closer to the Texas Panhandle Wednesday morning. Anywhere west of the Rockies, though, it looks dry. The pavement and the roadways should be dry for your travel. Also up into western Canada, it's looking dry beneath that upper level ridge. We do see another area of scattered showers and thunderstorms off the southeastern coast as well as over parts of New England. So if you got plans to travel up towards Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, it could be a little wet in the morning tomorrow. Looking at the forecast here on the right for Wednesday evening, we still see some unsettled weather from Mexico on up into western Texas, including the El Paso area, along Interstate 10 from New Orleans, right on over to Jacksonville. There's a good potential that you could see some scattered showers and thunderstorms along Interstate 10, as well as working your way down Interstate 4, Interstate 95, northern Florida, right on down Interstate 75 on the west coast of the Florida Peninsula. Additionally, we see a few more showers lingering in Nova Scotia and Halifax, as well as Maine and eastern Canada, with lower thickness values and chillier temperatures north of that main polar front jet stream axis by Wednesday evening. Looking at the forecast high temperatures for Wednesday, 31 August 2022, the heat just keeps continuing beneath this ridge out in the west. Anywhere from Montana westward to Washington State, down south towards eastern Oregon, Nevada, parts of western Utah, parts of western Arizona and southern Arizona, the valleys of California. It's going to be a hot one. I mean, even to the coast, it's going to be quite warm with middle 80s, potentially reaching all the way to San Diego tomorrow for a high. What else is impressive on this map are these 100 degree and 102 degree forecast high temperatures for parts of eastern Washington State and Oregon tomorrow, as well as parts of southern Idaho, Boise, 104 tomorrow for the expected high. So if you're driving anywhere out in the west, make sure you have the air conditioning running and working properly. If you're looking at eastern Montana, up lower to middle 90s for highs tomorrow, above average. Working our way south across the central and southern plains, parts of eastern Texas, where we see the showers and thunderstorms across west Texas. That will act to keep temperatures cooler with highs generally 75 to 80 degrees, believe it or not, across west Texas with all that cloud cover and shower and thunderstorm activity. But then working our way east along I-10 from Houston right to Jacksonville, high temperatures generally between 90 and 93 along that corridor. Additionally, Atlanta looking for a high of 91, Birmingham 91, Jackson, Mississippi, very warm, around 94 degrees tomorrow, very muggy. Additionally, we see a little bit of warmer temperatures making it up just south of the Virginia, North Carolina line. Now, the temperatures will be in the mid to upper 80s across southeastern Virginia. We do ultimately expect a little bit less humid air to filter in from the northwest behind a cool front. It won't be a major or drastic change, but it will be a little less humid, especially on Thursday for the mid-Atlantic states. And then the cooler temperatures behind that cool front will occur generally from Ohio to Pennsylvania down into the higher elevations, the Appalachians, if you're hiking tomorrow along the Appalachian Trail, and then also working our way north towards New York State and New England. The coolest temperatures with highs generally in the 40s to low 50s will be across eastern Canada. Forecast low temperatures for tomorrow evening into Thursday morning, 1 September, our first morning in September this year. Looking at coolest temperatures, generally right along Interstate 80 corridor from Pittsburgh, right on through Ohio into parts of northern Indiana, northern Illinois, the Quad Cities. The low temperatures by Thursday morning will be about 60 degrees or so. Des Moines, Iowa in the upper 50s. So you're starting to see these northern areas get progressively cooler overnight. We are losing daylight as we move towards the autumnal equinox. So we're having longer periods of night. That means less time the sun is out. And our incoming solar radiation, the sun angle is starting to get lower in the sky. And the incoming solar radiation is showing signs of weakening. Now, the overnight low temperatures will remain in the low to mid 80s across parts of Palm Springs, the southeastern areas of California into Arizona. Low temperature about 87 in Phoenix for Thursday morning, so that's going to be a hot spot. And then anywhere south, and I almost say this like a repetitive broken record, but anywhere south of Interstate 40 corridor generally is going to be in the 70s for overnight lows by Thursday morning. Looking at the extended CFS, the Climate Forecast System V2 temperature anomaly forecast, this is in degrees Celsius. Generally, the image on the left, I'm showing the period from out to 10 days, out through 9 September. If you see the blue coloring, that indicates below normal or cooler than normal temps, the orange shading above normal temperatures. So you can see where the focus remains for the hottest temperatures, the above normal temperatures from California, Nevada, into parts of the Pacific Northwest, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, up into both Alberta and the Saskatchewan provinces of Canada. It's going to be hot. It's going to be above normal. Whereas over the Ohio Valley, southwestward into the Missouri River Valley, and into parts of Texas, we're expecting below or cooler than normal temperatures over the next 10 days, right on out through 9 September. Now we look at the image on the right here. Now we're going out to 15 days. We're going out with this outlook on the right all the way out to 14 September. But again, notice where the warmer than normal temperatures remain over Canada. And generally across the western U.S. again. And those cooler than normal temperatures remain across parts of West Texas, northern Mexico, and almost in the same spots in the Ohio River Valley, for example. Looking at the sea surface temperature anomalies, this is courtesy of Tropical Tidbits website. Looking at this graphic here, this is going to be interesting to see how this unfolds as we head into the fall season and approach the winter season across the northern hemisphere. Generally, blue coloring indicates below normal water temperatures, which is associated with La Nina right now across the eastern and central equatorial Pacific areas. You see the blue shading here. And then the higher latitude oceans are actually quite warm right now, very much above normal. We do have some typhoons and tropical activity increasing across the western Pacific right now. And so a lot of these above normal temperatures, those particular storms, those typhoons are really tapping into that heat from below that and that water surface of the ocean to really gain super intensities out there. In fact, we have a super typhoon just southeast of Japan today. But in general, look at these above normal water temps going all the way across just south of the Aleutians into the Gulf of Alaska, just off the western coast of Canada as of today. And then the below normal water is again associated with La Nina along the eastern and central equatorial Pacific Ocean. We have above normal temperatures in the water too, the ocean waters, generally off of Maine and generally working our way off Nova Scotia and eastern Canada as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how this stuff changes, how these temperature anomalies change over time. We'll be watching it closely. If you look at the graphic here on the right, showing you the temperature trace, this is the sea surface temperature anomaly in degrees Celsius for the Niño 3.4 region. And that Niño 3.4 region is generally going to be located in the eastern, working its way westward to a little bit of the central equatorial Pacific region. In general, this is how the water temperature anomalies have been. We had a major dive in the temperatures. There was some cooling again across this particular area. And generally, we're sitting at about 0.85 degrees Celsius below normal right now. So we're still meeting the criteria of La Nina. And the La Nina is expected to continue right on into the northern hemisphere fall, as well as into, for sure, the early part of the winter season. Now, as we get into the January to March 2023 time period, a lot of the models are showing the La Nina rebounding, the water temperatures rebounding to more ENSO neutral conditions. So we'll keep an eye on that. And then finally, in tonight's video, here is the local Hampton Roads 7-day forecast. Very dry overall. I mean, if you look at this Wednesday through next Monday, Labor Day, generally looking at relatively unchanged weather conditions, partly sunny to mostly sunny conditions, Wednesday through Labor Day. We're looking at high temperatures generally in the upper 80s. Now, there might be a little bit lower humidity on Thursday, particularly. High will be around 87. But it won't feel as muggy out. It'll be warm, but you'll notice a slight difference in the humidity levels on Thursday. But then by the weekend again, Labor Day weekend, we're looking dry. If you have cookout or any outdoor activities planned, it looks good right now. It will get more unsettled as we get into next Tuesday, the 6th of September, and Wednesday, the 7th of September. At the tail end of this forecast period, it's looking as if we're going to have some troughing develop in the upper levels and a potential, the next cold front coming down from the northwest could result in some more unsettled weather the early to middle part of next week, with high temperatures dropping into the lower 80s with a lot more cloud cover. All right, that wraps things up tonight for the weather discussion, as well as the United States weather forecast for Wednesday, the last day of August, 31 August 2022. We hope you enjoy these presentations. Please feel free to leave us comments, and also if you want to share that picture for the opening slide, send it to me, and I'll make sure and put your name there with a photo credit next to it. So that's it, folks. I hope everybody has a great evening. If you're living in the eastern United States right now, or even the western United States, do your best to stay cool. And don't forget, fall is coming. And that's all I got for now. Until next time, everybody, take care and God bless.